Hello, today's video is called So Many Patents, Part 1. Today is October 11, 2021. In this video, I will show you different patents that prove the existence of different technology that is being used to manipulate us. And on Part 2, I will talk about patents that are being used to manipulate the weather. The agenda for today is what is a patent, patent list, John patents, concepts, and closing comments. What is a patent? We have spoken about this in the past. It is a declaration of commercialization rights. It's granted by the government for a specific period of time, and it requires human intervention. All natural things cannot be subject to a patent. How do you find patents? You have in the left the Google patent finder, and then here you can plug in the information you have. It will feed you the different type of patents related to that number, and then it will show you the different details, including something called the abstract, that is the summary of what this patent in particular is going to be talking about. And here's the link if you want to do some research yourself. I am going to talk to you about some specific lists. The one that I'm showing here are just examples of the infamous things that we know, including the current one that is related to different type of permits that is creating wealth for some people while others suffer. Today we'll focus on manipulation patents of humans, and of course this is not an all-inclusive list. There are so many ways of looking at this, but I found 59 expired different patents starting in 1968. So the first one was created 53 years ago, and it talks about a nervous system excitation device. So you can see how this manipulation has been an obsession of different people / governments about how to make sure that they make us do things we may not want to do. So here we talk about how you can create partial deafness in the enemy, monitoring brain waves. Here's subliminal messages, changing the brain waves, altering consciousness, mixing audio subliminal recordings. And here, something that is actually quite important for us right now, syringe implants, identification, transponder. So it expired, as you can see, but clearly is something that I'm sure that it was used for something that is happening right now. Here on the second part, we can see the alteration of states of consciousness. Here you see the same, alteration of dream states, manipulation of the nervous system, the same here, brainwave inducing system, and once again, subliminal acoustic manipulation of nervous system. So the topic is the same as manipulation, manipulation, manipulation all the time. And then the final part we have here, therapeutic behavior modification program, compliance monitoring and feedback system, method of inducing harmonious states of being. So it sounds positive, but again, it's manipulation, right? Intraoral electronic tracking device. I don't even want to think about that one. Producing desired brain state. Once again, sounds positive, but it's still manipulation. Communication control of brainwave. And this one that is extremely interesting because it's current, even though it's expired, monitors and determines undesirable behavior in humans via wireless microprocessors in vehicles, personal property, and homes. So first of all, who has done this list of undesirable behavior, undesirable to who and why? And then in vehicles, well, I understand every car has a computer. In homes, I understand Google Home, etc. But what is this personal property? Interesting. Is this possible? Yes. Everything is energy. We spoke about this in the video, Interesting Permits. We also talked in this video about the fact that the brain, when it's awake, is emitting something between 12 and 25 watts. And one example that I use in that video is the fact that phones also produce energy between 0.75 and 1 watt. So obviously, when you're exchanging energy, anything is possible. Active patents. So once again, not all the patents that exist, because you can imagine it's this, as they say, a whole rabbit hole. You can go crazy with this. Identification and tracking of persons using radio frequency ID tagged items in store environments. So what is interesting is that in my previous life, when I was working in Toronto, I actually put radio frequency IDs on certain products, but I didn't know that you can actually track those items in regards to a person as well. So locate and damage the target, incorporating brain waves, method to brain fingerprinting. This is incredible. Remote detection and monitoring of changes the subject that is free to move. I just actually don't like the wording of this. You are remote detecting a subject that is free to move. It's just incredible. There's no compassion. Here, affect brainwaves method to modify music files to induce a desired state of consciousness. Once again, maybe it's for something positive, but it's still manipulation. One that I noticed that was abandoned by Motorola was a coupling an electronic skin tattoo to a mobile communication device. So I'm assuming that what they wanted to do was to capture the vibration in your neck and then send that as a text in your phone. Luckily, they desisted. You think that's crazy? Let's explore the next section. We're talking about John patents. If you look at patents, you will find someone called John Sinclair. It's actually a whole book about the type of patents that he registered because they're extremely interesting. And of course, I'm not going to talk a little bit about that book because it's a whole chapter in its own. But here's a list of 18 of his patents. So you can see how he was extremely active. He's talking here about teleportation. I'll talk about this in a minute. Walking through walls, electromagnetic vehicles, magnetic vortex wormhole generator, magnetic spacecrafts, remote viewing. So all these things are on this link. What is teleportation? Is the instantaneous travel between two locations without crossing space. So it's almost as you have seen many movies, you come in one place, you come out in another place. Space-time is the interassociation of four dimensions. So typically when we talk about our day-to-day, we talk about 2 or 3 dimensions. We talk about length, height, and maybe depth, but we don't go into the next one that is going to be incorporating time. And then that is the space-time that incorporates the 3 that we commonly talk about, plus the time that creates almost like a curve in something that is similar to almost like a net. And here is well represented the way it was once explained many, many years ago by Carl Sagan. A wormhole is a connection between 2 space-times. So if you consider the previous explanation, you have one space-time here that is combining the 4 dimensions and then another one, and you can create almost like a tunnel to communicate those 2. Remember, we're talking about patents. Magnetic vortex generator creates negative mass. This is actually another patent, and that negative mass allows openings between dimensions. So once again, these are patents. So just imagine vehicles that can travel light years by moving out of dimensions and can lift heavy objects. So you can imagine an application such as creating the pyramids in Egypt, for example. Remote viewing is about gathering information from places and people that are not close to you. So again, extremely interesting that all these are patents that have been active for multiple years. If John knows this, it is 100% possibility that the government also knows this and more. So what is the government doing with all of this and obviously more? Closing comments. It is very possible, based on all these manipulative patents that we saw through the presentation, that many people are being manipulated. It is incredible. It is amazing that you and I are aware of all of this and we're not being influenced. So we are the resistance. Protect your light. Avoid bad news as often as possible. Be away from your phone, from computers, electromagnetic radio frequencies. Now you know how they're used to manipulate you, so stay away from there. Never sleep with your phone on, never sleep close to your computer. Just take them out of your room. Even when they're off, they're still emitting electromagnetic radio frequencies. Pray, meditate, send white light to others and to the planet, and definitely say no to this. It is very bad, at the very least for the body, and it is my strong belief that it's also very bad for your soul. Stand firm in your sovereignty. You are an eternal being. Thank you very much.